Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. Super excited to have my friend back. Mark Pagdin with TrustHome Properties is here. I love the title of this show. Should I buy or should I sell? Should I stay or should I go? I'm loving everything about it. Mark is an alumnus of the Ted Show. We've had him on before. He's got a great accent, a great sense of humor, and certainly a great business acumen. So welcome back, Mark. How you doing?
Thank you, Ted. Thanks for having us back on again. Nice to see you. Glad you're keeping up with the sartorial elegance. Always good to see.
Always, my friend, always. All right, so you were on the show before, but for those people who don't know you, that may not remember, it's always good to give everybody kind of another background. So tell us a little bit about your origin story.
Well, I've been here in Orlando now for 16 years, and I own TrustHome Properties. We specialize in leasing and rentals, long-term rentals rather than vacation stuff. I am, as you can tell with my sexy English accent, I'm from the north of England originally, from Sheffield. The ladies love it, and it helps me in business because I'm direct and I'm able to give people a forthright opinion. My background is that of a CPA. So I help clients from an investment point of view, a numbers point of view. I'm able to describe to them the good and the bad in terms of the returns on their investment.
I love that you have this CPA background. That's really awesome. That gives an added, to me, it's like an added value, an added layer to the service that you can provide, because you have a whole different educational background that will help anybody in any kind of transaction, I would imagine. Why real estate from CPA, though? What made you make this?
I mean, back in the day when I was working over there as an accountant, I had investment properties here in Orlando and I had investment properties over there. And I used to work, 16, 20-hour days because of the time difference. And I finally got fed up with that way of living. And I decided to move my family over here and focus just on the investments in Orlando. And what I found was, and it's still true to this day, is that when we're dealing with investors and landlords and clients, people are scared to say no. And it's perfectly okay to say no, providing you can justify why. And I've built the business and we built our client base based on the fact that we give straightforward advice to people, and we're not afraid of saying, don't buy this, or don't rent to that person, or, just be careful. Well, but everyone's so positive and they just want to say yes.
Nobody wants a yes man or yes woman when you are talking about a purchase. They need you to be their advisor, their bartender, their counselor, their priest, pastor, whatever it is. They need you to be able to be honest with them. But a lot of people, you're right, don't do that. They tell people what they want to hear. And I think that is a big mistake.
That's right. And, going on the title of the show, one of the things I wanted to sort of talk about today with you is this idea of should I stay or should I go? Everybody's asking us the same question. Coming out of COVID, what the hell is going on? A lot of people are saying, I want to sell, I want to sell, I want to cash out. And they're sort of weary of the rental market because some people bought or they got stuck with properties from the last crash. They're now seeing profit. They want to get out. But then what we're seeing is this whole secondary market from the COVID, which is York and the Northeast, flooding our market. And so we're seeing this not calming down, far from it. So the question I'm getting asked every day, I'm sure you are on the mortgage side, is should I stay where I am? Should I keep going? Or should I bail out? Should I get out of the industry? What should I do? And I think that's a relevant question we're facing at the moment. And I don't see a reason for getting out at the moment for other financial reasons.
Well, it's a challenge, right? Because the market is a seller's market as we speak right now. Sellers are getting multiple offers, some cash, tons over, nobody cares. It's crazy what's going on right now. It's a little eerily reminds me a little bit of 2007, 2006. The appraisals are starting to come in low. So there's this checks and balances that are happening. And by low, I mean low per what they were before. So everybody's trying to maneuver through this new world that we're dealing with, and they don't know the answer. Do I, like you said, should I go ahead and buy something new and get all my equity out? Or should I just stay, refinance, use some of that money to buy a new property? There's all sorts of thought process. So when somebody comes to you and says, should I buy or should I sell, or should I stay or should I go? What are some of the questions you ask them in order to get to the bottom of it?
That's a great segue on to me, Ted, because what I was going to say is we're seeing a huge change and shift in the market. And traditionally, people used to have single family homes and they'd rent them out. They'd have a condo, they'd rent them out. They'd have a duplex, rent them out. We are seeing a massive shift away from what you would have had as a traditional rental towards what we would call a modern rental. And people are moving from the small, close proximity properties to now they want more room. They want the extra bedroom. Why? Because everyone's working on Zoom. They're all working at home. So we've seen the condo market shift. We've seen the duplex market shift. And those people are progressing now and renting townhomes. Townhomes are like, hen's teeth at the moment. In your world, you put them on the market, they sell quickly, people are overbidding for them. Why?
Yes.
For great investment properties, because we can get disproportionately high rent and the maintenance is less because the association covers the roof, covers the AC, the big ticket items, much more cash flow for the owners. And we're seeing some of these townhomes renting, 2 years ago they were renting for 1,600, now they're going for $2,000.
Wow.
So your yield is much better. So should I stay or should I go? What I think is, if you're in the condo market, if you're maybe even in the single family market, maybe get out of that and move to the townhomes, because the costs of maintenance are less, the HOAs are less, the return is higher, but the demand is high as well.
And townhomes, so it's interesting because I have an insurance background. Townhomes are an interesting animal because some of them have the association and some don't.
Yeah.
So some of them are treated like an HO6. I hate to talk insurance, but a condo, and some are treated like an HO3, which is a home. And so you have to have a professional like Mark who knows the difference and what that means. It's a big deal when you're getting into a market, and people are like, I feel like people are really going, all right, I'm sitting on equity. What do I do? And they don't know. And they're also afraid that they're not going to be able to, because of the seller's market, they might be able to get a whole bunch, but their money may not go far when they try to purchase something else. What's kind of the conversation you have with people when that comes up?
Well, interestingly, you've hit on something there from the insurance point of view, and this is very pertinent to your side of the equation, because when we're assessing these townhomes for investors to purchase, are they titled as condo? Are they titled as townhome? Because, as you know, a lot of lenders don't like them if they're condos because they might not qualify. And so we have to do this extra level of research.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. That was the delay. Go.
Yeah, we have to do this extra level of research because we are finding these landlords who come in, or they're investors that come in, they've got a little pot of money, they want to go for it. And I've got finance. My friend's got my mortgage sorted. Great. You could go under contract on some of these properties and then find that they're a non-qualifying property, or that there are so many rentals in the community already that your lender won't approve them. So you've got to have somebody savvy that's helping you and working with you to be able to identify, will they be able to be financed or not, as an investment property, not as a residence, but as an investment property. And we have seen some loans get turned down for that because people have not done the due diligence, or they've not come to somebody like us to do the research work for them.
The due diligence is so important because if your lender or your realtor don't know the difference between a HO3 and an HO6, you could be having this whole thing go through the process and realize at the end that you don't have the financing because it's really an HO6, which is a condo, and you have to do it differently. There's a whole different set of rules for that.
That's right.
Which obviously comes out of the crazy market we had when we did all of the conversions, apartment conversions to condo. I don't know if you remember those times that they were crazy. Yeah. So we've backed away and tried to put checks and balances in there. But if your lender and your realtor aren't educated on that, then you could be in a position where you will have an issue trying to close.
Yeah. We're also seeing a lot of people who now would traditionally, they would use people like us as their agent from afar, and the internet is providing them with resources where they think they can do these things. The COVID thing has put a whole new challenge on it. So these landlords who thought they could do it and they were having a nice, easy breeze for the last 2 years, we're now finding that they're having challenges because people are citing COVID, they're not paying the rent, they're stalling, they're using the veil of protection from the CDC on evictions, but there are ways around it. As a landlord, we are finding we still have evictions that go through the courts. We are still able to deal with it. You just need to know how. And so we've seen that the landlords who sort of had a good run at it so far, now they're stalling a little bit. It's become a little bit more complicated and can't show the property as easy because people don't want to meet people. They want to do it all online. So there's been a mass move towards these 360 tours and online gadgets where you can measure rooms and things.
So true.
So it's an ever-changing market. You've got to evolve and you've got to go with it. As I say, should I stay or should I go? Some landlords are saying, you know what, it's like hard work now, and so they're bailing out. But then for the rest of us who are staying in the market, we have to take the step up, and we've got to move to that next level. And the return is the higher rents. And some of the rents we're getting, I shake my head because they're amazing. You know,
it's crazy, right? So let me ask you. We had a couple questions before we went live. People are trying to figure out how to dip their big toe into the investment market. What should somebody consider? Let's say that they feel like it's time, they want to have an investment property. They know that they can build long-term wealth and retirement with investment properties. They've understood that. They've gone to every class. Now they're ready to go, quote unquote. When somebody comes to you like that, what are some of the questions you ask, or how do you guide them in how they can get the best rental property for their situation?
Well, the first question I ask them, and I ask the same question to everyone: have you been a landlord before? Because that dictates. If they say yes, I have, I can talk to them about a lease. I can talk to them about an addendum. I can talk to them in techno blurb because they'll understand it. If they say no, but I know I need to invest in real estate, I will literally roll back my level of conversation almost to sort of real basics. This is a lease, because then I want to move quickly, but I want to move them forward at the same pace of knowledge. So you sometimes have to wind them back to move them forward quickly so that they can be successful.
That's such a great point, because when we had a rental property after we bought our second home, and I didn't know what I was getting into. I was smart enough, and I'm not taking the credit, I was blessed enough that I found a property manager who handled all of it. And so for my teeny tiny bit, 10% at the time, which I know it hasn't really gone up much since then, 10% at the time, it was worth every penny. So I could still be an investor, and I could still be a quote unquote landlord and have an investment property. And I was not dealing with any of the insanity. There are people who want to buy and then they want to flip. They've never done a fixer-upper. They want to be a landlord. They've never done one. And so those kind of conversations can be tough for them. And they need somebody like you or me who are going to tell them, here's the real nitty-gritty. It's not all roses and unicorns.
It is not.
It's a lot of work.
It is not. And that's the problem, Ted, is the people, certainly I know some of our competitors, they sell this dream. And then the phone rings to me and it's, we're in the brown stuff here, guys. Can you help us? And I was like, well, didn't this get explained to you? Or who's told you to do this? And it was, well, so-and-so told me. And a lot of it can be avoided, but you have to have honest and forthright conversations. And I don't see a problem with that. And I think a client who is more informed will do more business with you because they trust you, they realize it can go up and down. It's not all good news. But at the end of the day, if they understand you're working with them rather than just taking a fee from them, that's where you have more success together.
What you just said is so important. A lot of people are afraid to educate their potential customers, consumers.
I find it exciting, Ted. I find it exciting because despite my good looks, I am now getting a little bit older, right?
No.
So I find it good talking to people and educating them and making them more knowledgeable as I do my staff, because those older guys have got to give back a bit, haven't they?
It's so funny to me because I feel like there are groups of people who want to be educated. They actually want to know so they can make an educated decision. There's an entire group of people that absolutely will not listen to any reason and just want to plow forward. And to me, those are the ones that I generally either steer away from or try to educate the best, because that's going to be the nightmare that comes back later and says, why didn't you stop me? You're the advisor, you're the mortgage guy, you're the realtor. Why didn't you help me? Why didn't you give me the information? Well, we tried, but you didn't want to listen. And so a lot of times that can be a lot of extra work. I've got people that shift, but if they don't want to listen to you, it can be very hard to get your job done because they're going into an environment that they really will have no idea how to handle once they close.
I'm sure it's the same in your line of work, Ted, as well on the loans. I know it's the same. One of the things I talk about a lot with the staff is we have to save people from themselves.
Yeah.
Because they want to make such silly decisions, or they want to make decisions on principle, or because they're offended, or the personality, and you can't be like that. You have to make practical decisions. And so you're constantly trying to save people from themselves from making silly decisions.
It's so true. And listen, Mr. and Miss Consumer, we still love you. That's what we're here for. That's why we get licensed and trained and know our products and know what we're supposed to be doing. You just have to make sure that you find somebody who actually does know what they're doing. I encourage people to check people out, look at their background, see how many
online reviews, Ted. Look at their online reviews. That's what you get now. They're the bullets of the modern world, is the online reviews.
I agree. And it's just so important. It helps make a decision. Now, do I look at every restaurant review and take that with a grain of salt sometimes? Yes. But here's the deal. You have to find somebody that's educated. It's one thing to feel comfortable. It's another thing if they don't know how to do a loan, how to do a real estate transaction. They're new to the business. Or I always love the ones where in my industry, it's some loan officer I'm competing with that's 1,000 miles away that has no idea about my market and still trying to have a conversation. And because they say all the right words and tell them what they want to hear, then we're challenged and we have to explain to them. And then it's get educated and make sure you work with educated people.
One of the things, Ted, one of my bugbears is when you see on your reviews online and you'll say there's 100 reviews and it'll say there's 100 5-star reviews. That smells to me. That seems strange because not everybody could have had a perfect experience. I think you actually want to see 1 or 2 negative reviews or 1 or 2 cautious comments, because what it does is it means as a professional, you've told people something they don't want to hear. Correct. And that means that you're doing your job. And I think that is underrated when research is done for mortgage guys, realtors, property managers. I think you need to see that where somebody has probably made somebody feel a bit uncomfortable. Doesn't mean they've done anything wrong. It just means that the receiver of the information perhaps didn't like what was said because it was true.
Because I would think everybody would want to know up front instead of the day before closing or 3 days before closing or the day of. I just had one that we're trying to save or work on that somebody else, it was the day of closing. Like this stuff that goes on if you're not working with a professional team, it's outrageous to me. So make sure you do your research. It's one thing to get along with people. It's another thing to find somebody who's actually going to do the job right, integrity.
And one of the final things, Ted, is if you need somebody who, if they don't know the answer to something, is prepared to say, I don't know, but I will find out.
It's my favorite. I agree. And if somebody tells you an answer over and over again and it's vague, trust your gut.
That's right.
Trust your gut, because that you know that you're getting the same vague answer over and over again. You're either being acquiesced to or patronized. You guys know it as the consumer. And so if your gut's telling you to get out, I'm telling you to get out. This is my long-term feeling about if I'm not feeling good about doing business with someone, I don't care where we're at in the process. I don't want to finish it. And so do your research. You got to find people like Mark and his team.
One thing I do want to sort of finish up with, Ted. One thing I do want to get across to people, Ted, is, now, as I say, should I stay, should I go? There's this sort of decision point in the market. we're finding more and more and more people are moving to the Orlando area, the metro area, renters, I mean, and they've still got jobs in New York. They still work in Chicago, but it's all Zoom. And they are making these lifestyle decisions. I don't want to live in the snow. I don't want to live in the cold. I don't want to pay high taxes. You know what? I'm going to move to Orlando. I'm going to go to the theme parks at the weekend. I'm going to work on my Zoom all week. It's just booming the market. It's still going, you know. It really is a shift as to what's happened.
Yes, I agree. All right. What's the best way for people to reach you, Mark, learn more about what you do? If somebody wants to talk about investment properties or properties in general, how can they reach you?
Obviously, you've got the website scrolling across, TrustHomeProperties.com. The office number is 407-250-4800. We've also got a YouTube channel. There's lots of my crazy, wacky videos there that people can have a look at, my little 2 and 3 minute videos. I do try and give educational tips to landlords. You know, if they're a bit unsure about ringing, they might want to get familiar with the advice we give. We've got, you know, have a look at our reviews. I mean, Fantastic. We've got like 400 and some reviews. We've got loads of them. You know, we'll always give people some advice and some, you know, we try to be approachable and more approachable, you know.
All right. Mark Pagdin, Trust Home Properties, TrustHomeProperties.com. Thank you, buddy, for coming back on the show. I appreciate you so much.
Nice to see you, Ted.
Reach out to us. Let us know. Yep. Great to see you. All right, Mark, reach out to him. It's one of the
We'll see you soon, Ted.